I'm sitting here today because I was the fastest man in the history of the world. There was times that I was at work, in the club till 3 a.m, and then the next day I'm on TV running. I'm sitting here getting tested 50 times a year.
You're leaving Bay Street, the money street, to go run?
The very first race that my dad saw me compete in was in the Olympics 100-meter final. Some of the track athletes that are competing now, I'm like, why are you guys trying to break world records every day and you never, ever will get there?
Michael Johnson. What the hell happened there?
So, Michael, listen, here's the deal. For $40 million, let's do it.
Welcome back to the MVH podcast, Money Buys Happiness. Guys, of course, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Whew. I'm excited for this podcast. I would say a household Canadian name. Everybody that I told we were doing this interview to was like blown away. They're like, whoa, I haven't heard from him in forever. Donovan Bailey, how's it going?
Good. What do you mean they haven't heard from me? What the hell? Are they living under a rock, man?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You kind of went away for a bit.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that, well, first of all, thanks for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. One. It's a pleasure.
No, man, I've never been away anywhere in particular. I think that maybe in my life, there's a certain level of focus and discipline. And sometimes if you're not out there, people don't think you're doing something.
True.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So no, dude, I've been here.
I've been here.
but glad to be here.
No,
so we can get to there.
Of
yes.
course.
No, listen, I think it's more about in the format that we're going to be having this conversation.
Perfect.
It's really that. So with that said, we love to like dive deep in people's, early childhood, upbringing, everything that kind of got them to the place where they achieved some type of glory. And obviously you've had a massive glory, a massive achievement for the country, for yourself. So we really want to start, who was Donovan as a kid? What was his upbringing like? Walk us through that whole journey.
Man, that's that. Well, one, I have a book out. It's called Undisputed. It is a bestseller. Speaking of not being anywhere, so I do have a book out on the market wherever books are sold. Penguin Random House and I have a great partnership. So Undisputed, the book is out, so you can go get that. Okay. But yes, I'll certainly give you the Coles Notes version of my life. I was born in Jamaica, so I'm of proud Jamaican heritage, where sprinting is born and continues to be, from. But I was born in Jamaica. My parents moved to Oakville. Clearly, I followed them because you don't get to make a choice when you have Jamaican parents. So I moved to Oakville, went to school in Oakville. How far do you want me to go?
Yeah, no, I'm curious. Like
more so, I would say even your mindset at that age and what you were thinking about, the things that you wanted to do with your life, what the people around you were like supporting you. We want to dig into like the mindset at a younger age and how that evolved into who you became.
And how old were you when you moved? We'll start with that.
This is awesome. I mean, it's in the book though. I'm just letting you know.
That's fine. That's
fine.
That's fine.
No, but we'll talk about it.
Sure.
You know what? Listen, I'm one of those blessed guys that I'm a mama's boy.
Same.
But my dad, well, I can see it, man. I can feel it. But also my dad became my best friend. So my dad was the person my mom was the one who nurtured me and communicated with me and kind of told me, hey, you can do anything you want. You can study. You can be the smartest kid in class and all that. And my dad was, no, you're gonna go get it. Now you're gonna go get it. You're gonna go get it, and you forget about all anyone that's out there. Whatever goals you got, your mom already told you, how to go about it.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, you got to go get it.
Okay.
Right. So for me, I grew up with structure. I grew up with structure, and of course, I think that obviously as a Jamaican, what happens is that people don't talk enough about, maybe the foundation of academics and accomplishments, because we always talk about music and sports.
Yes.
Because that is really, people always see the big shiny objects.
Yes.
Which is obviously
sexier.
Yeah, when you get there.
Yeah.
But the structure of every single one of those people that you'll see at the highest level, you don't hear about the doctors, lawyers, inventors, all of the people that are top. are like top of the world. What you hear about is the sports people because, of course, from a media perspective. But yeah, I grew up with structure. I grew up with discipline. I grew up with goal setting. You know, so as a young kid, my parents first of all they didn't drive me into sports. So sports wasn't like, oh my God, you're gonna be the next fastest guy or the next basketball player or whatever. It was academics, study, and focus. And focus was on anything. You know,
Interesting.
When I'm 3, 4, 5 years old, I mean, it really was just like, organize your room, make your bed up.
Yeah.
You know, so I understood that from being very young. So growing up with that structure alone allowed me to prepare to be successful. So again, I'm sitting here today because I was the fastest man in the history of the world, right? That's why I'm sitting here today. But my parents had prepared me to be whatever it was, whether it was going to be a broadcaster, a lawyer, doctor, businessman, whatever it was. So I mean, I grew up in a place where I was prepared to be successful.
It's interesting because you have that balance of you have mom who's like, yeah, you can be anything,
Right.
but like this is the foundation of like being a structured human who has goals, who understands that like you need to be this, that you need to have that foundation before you can strive for anything else. And then dad was like, go get it.
Absolutely. I mean, you know what I talk about a lot in sports because again, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You always have like helicopter parents because I'm a parent too, but I'm trying not to be the helicopter. I'll push my kids, but I'm not going to be there. I'll cheerlead for them, but I'm also going to give them structure. Like I know. When I speak to people about track and field and my father, like my mom was always going to be supportive. She hated crowds, so she didn't want to be in the stands, right? My dad was the one who showed up only when it mattered. But the very first race that my dad saw me compete in was in the Olympics 100 meter final.
No way.
Again,
First time.
the first time was the final. I'm going to tell you how it works. I mean, I fly dad in. He's in Atlanta. He's got amazing tickets. He actually said, "Oh, Donovan, I got some really good tickets." I'm like, "I don't know how you got that." But I mean, like him understanding, like discipline and structure, and also goal setting, and also understanding about what he's already instilled in me. He said to me, I'm like, okay, so like the night before I started to compete in the 100 meters, I said, tomorrow morning, I have the heats because I'm like, the Olympics is totally commission based. You have to qualify to get to the next level, even if you're the world champion, the world record holder. Okay. Doesn't matter. And my dad looked at me and goes, I had no plans to come and watch you tomorrow morning because I'm taking my granddaughter out for breakfast. And I'm like, dude, if I don't make it, it's over.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and goes, as I just said to you, I promised my granddaughter I'm going to take her out for breakfast. And I'm like, so I'll say, okay, fine, no problem. And then, so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, no problem. He's probably thinking, yeah. He's the reigning world champion. He's probably going to make it anyways, right? Yeah. So I'm like, what about the quarterfinals? He goes, no. I'm not coming to see that. He said, I'll see you tomorrow at the finals.
Wow.
That's it. So, I mean, and funny enough, when he said that, I just started laughing because that's exactly what he expected. Because he's like, okay, so let me get this straight. You're a successful business guy on Bay Street, young guy doing really well. You decided you're going to go run. You decided you're going to go, basically do what children do, which is playing, right? Which is a sport, right? Yeah. He goes, well, you've decided to do that. So, show me. Mm-hmm. Show me what you're made of. Let me see what this whole thing's all about. So I'm just saying to you, that's what I thought. He never said that to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I started laughing. I'm like, of course, that's my dude.
For sure.
That's my guy. Of course. He's like, I'm going to the Olympics, and so be it. I'm going to the Olympics, and I'm going to see what this man's all about. Yep. He said he's the reigning world champion. The world said he's the reigning world champion. Let's see what he's going to do. Yeah. So
it's tough love. It's like that tough love. But did that motivate you when he did that?
It's you know what? It's tough love, but it's also conditional love. Right? I think that moms have this on like no matter what happens, no matter your kid is the greatest criminal in the world. It's kind of like, oh, I love him.
It's true.
He's not, you know what I mean?
It's true. Don't make an excuse or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And your dad is looking at you going, I'm going to take your head off.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. I think that sometimes we've forgotten that, the perfect balance between two parents, a two-parent household, I mean, I was blessed to have both. I mean, obviously, I have friends who weren't that blessed, and they turned out to be okay too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to you that the benefits of having it is that I can speak about it.
Of course.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, man, the conditional love, my dad had conditional love,
Yeah.
for sure. But also, that was my dude, and that was my best friend. And my mom's my mom. My mom is the most flawless human in the world. And I'm very certain
all are,
if you both said that, of course, you know that. You've said, yo, man, my mom's the greatest.
Of course.
And I'd be like, I concur.
It's funny because they have the unconditional love for you and vice versa.
Right.
Your mom could probably do no wrong in your
100%.
eyes,
Yeah.
right? So okay. So I want to talk about actually getting into the sport.
Right.
When did you actually get into the sport of sprinting? Like when did that actually come to be? How old were you? What made you go that route? Was there a coach? Was there somebody who pushed you to it? Like, how did it come to be?
So track and field in Jamaica is like baseball in America or hockey in Canada.
Yes.
Every single athlete, every single schoolboy or schoolgirl in Jamaica, the rite of passage is to go through and do an event in track and field.
Okay.
Because there's always, regardless of your body type or whatever it is, there's an event for you. Right? It doesn't matter what.
True.
So track, I started, like, I mean, funny enough, last week I was just, the largest high school championships in the world is called Champs.
Okay.
Or championships, but it's called just Champs.
Okay.
And it is the gathering of the top high school boys and the top high school girls in Jamaica. So this would be like if Canada had the greatest hockey tournament for kids from 10 to like 17.
Okay.
And it's televised and it's over a week.
Oh
like,
wow,
okay.
It's like that big of an event.
yeah, dude. I mean,
Okay.
it packed stadiums, to the rafters.
Cool,
Right.
cool.
So track and field is something that is in the Jamaican culture. I was at Champs last week or 2 weeks ago in Jamaica, and so I'm looking at the next future legends. I'm looking at guys who will be in the Olympic Games in the next cycle. So 4 to 8 years. I'm looking at athletes that's going to be representing not just Jamaica, because a lot of Jamaica produces athletes like the Middle East produces oil, dude.
Yeah.
So some of those very same athletes are going to be competing for other countries.
Yes.
So I mean, I had the pleasure of sitting in the audience and kind of watching some of these kids. So that's where track started for me.
Yes.
I mean, as a young boy, we had sports day, and sports day in Jamaica is you're divided in separate clubs within the school.
Okay.
We call them houses. It's kind of, so
Yes.
red house, blue house, whatever.
Okay.
Cool.
And then you compete against each other on sports day when you're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you start to compete then.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like
So
we're
it's
talking like
ingrained in you.
childhood
Yeah,
for
yeah.
real.
But you learn a lot of things,
Yes.
man, because
Yes.
we're just talking about like life and business. That's where you learn it. Of
course.
True.
You understand. I mean, I'm just saying you're 4, 5, 6, 7, you're running a relay. You understand what your role is.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
role will allow you to be a great leader
Yeah.
or a great follower.
Either way. Yeah.
Either
Good.
way, you know what I mean? So yeah, sports, I think that, I preach about sports a lot because I think that every single person in the world should do an individual sport and a team sport. I don't care what level you get to, just understand participating. I mean, funny enough, like sitting there talking to both of you guys and understanding unison.
Yes.
So, and I'm watching it like this is running a relay.
It
You're
is,
able to
yeah.
have a conversation and you're able to see, okay, here, I'm in that side, over there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And to me, I preach about sports because I think it allows you see kids do that. And when you see kids do that, hey man, those are the same kids that when I'm speaking to a room filled with CEOs, I'm like, okay, I heard that this kid did this from age 10 to 18. That's your killer right there.
Yes.
You want a salesperson?
For sure.
That's your guy. Yeah, 100%.
At that age is amazing, by the way, because we preach it too. We both played soccer. I played soccer my whole life.
Right.
Yes.
And we say the earlier you start, the better. So you're
Right.
saying 3, 4, 5, because teamwork, communication with others, respect for authority, the referee,
Everything.
Little
Respect
things
for
like
rules.
that.
100%.
right?
Discipline,
Like it's
discipline,
life. It's
everything.
literally life.
Yep.
In a smaller scale.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's amazing that makes sense. Those are the future business leaders.
Right.
And they learn a lot at that age. That makes sense. It's really cool to hear
So
that.
it's embedded in the culture for you.
Right.
And you didn't say what age did you move to Canada?
Oh, I moved to Canada when I was 7, went back to go to boarding school, and then officially moved back to Oakville when I was 12.
Okay. And you come back and walk us through, like, I want to know at what point does it become like, okay, I have a career in track and field. How
Oh,
old
God,
are
yeah,
you?
yeah.
You know, and from 12 onwards until you hit that point, what starts to make you see that? Like, I think that's because some people struggle, and the reason I'm asking is a lot of people struggle with understanding like when they've hit a moment of like, oh, this could actually be something that works for me forever. This could be my future job. This could be a skill that I'm building today that I actually could live my life off of. So that's why I'm curious, at what age does it start to become serious? And then it clicks in your mind like, oh shit, this is my future.
Okay, so that's just a funny story though, or that's a funny way about it that probably I went and that's not the usual route that a world record holder or the fastest man in the world takes. So you know what, I fell in love with basketball, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you. So I took track for granted.
Interesting.
I could show up and I could win.
Just like that.
Yeah, from probably I was 10, I would just show up and be like, oh, give me some shoes. Let me just crush all these dudes and I'll just go home, whatever.
That's crazy.
But I fell in love with basketball. Loved Michael Jordan. Dominique Wilkins was my favorite basketball player because he was like a dunker, and I loved that. But all through high school, I just took things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I played a whole bunch of sports. My parents were always on me about academics because again, that's that is the backbone of everything. But yeah, man, I played basketball, took track for granted. When I was 17, I got a couple of scholarship offers to the U.S. My dad thought I was too young to go to the U.S., although I was finished high school.
Okay.
So I decided to stay home and go to Sheridan College.
Wow.
Wayne Allison, who was my basketball coach, thought I was a project basketball-wise. I thought I was going to be the next basketball player, and I thought I was going to be the next NBA star.
Okay.
We went and played. I played at Sheridan College. Sheridan College was the number one Canadian champion, number one ranked team. Went on to Bay Street. After that, went on to Bay Street. Forgot about it.
But you went to Bay Street.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you the Undisputed, the book, right? I also did the audio version. So yeah, if you want to hear all of this in the whole book, right? Went to Bay Street. And then, I just woke up one day and, this is crazy, man. I hated being in an office. I hated being locked in. I didn't think that was being my greatest self. And also, probably the straw that broke the camel's back, where there were guys on the national team representing Canada that I'd crushed in high school.
Oh, you're like,
So you're getting pissed off at this point.
Okay.
But here's the deal. That's what I'm saying to you. So I actually went back in the track with the same stupid attitude that I had in high school. I'm like, I can go crush those guys.
Yeah.
And that, so that kind of start. We ended up going in. I ended up going into a meet. We lied about me being part of a track club and whatever. I'd showed up. I'd left the office. Showed up one day. Went to a race at Etobicoke. Borrowed some shoes. Crushed them.
Crushed everybody.
Just like that.
And I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah. And so there's a lot of those guys that had competed in high school that go, man, where's this guy been? Kind of like what you're saying. You guys were saying about what you guys, or maybe your audience. And I'm like, they're like, where have you been? I'm like, I've always been here, bro. I've just been over there, focused on what I'm doing. I've been over there making some money, So
how old were you? How old were you when you decided
21.
to go back? Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the reaction from the people around you, your family, friends? What are they saying that you're leaving Bay Street, the money street, to go run?
That that was the only person that actually affected. I mean, affected meaning that he saw it and he gave me some things. I mean, thank God I was old enough so he wouldn't cuff me. But it was my dad.
For sure. I was waiting for that.
No, it was my mom was like, oh yeah, you do whatever,
I love you even
You
more
guys
now.
have moms, and you know what I'm talking about, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, my dad was like, what? You're doing what?
Yeah.
Right? And my friends, they were like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
You were just at work like yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I was at work yesterday. I'm at the club with you tonight, but tomorrow I got a track meet. And they're like, where? And so, there's times that I've been in my early 20s there was times that I was at work, in the club till 3 in the morning,
Wow.
and then the next day I'm on TV running.
That is insane.
Stupid. Yes.
Crazy.
That is
It
insane.
must have been so easy for you though. The running part must have been super easy.
Well, no. Again, I took things for granted,
Yeah.
and I was an extremely competitive person.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that that kind of started to get back into track and field, and then of course, the guys that were on the national team that saw me compete in high school, they're like, oh man,
He's back.
Oh, they're like, fuck.
But yeah, exactly. But now I'm back, right?
Yeah.
I'm back. The issues that I was having was exactly what I was talking about. I was doing a day's work, right? I mean, I was sitting down all the time. I was playing basketball a lot, so I was not some guy sitting on the couch eating donuts. So because sometimes people, oh, were you out of shape? I'm like, no, I wasn't out of shape.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing basketball 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'm young,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, I still got the 12-pack all as well, like no matter what.
Yeah.
But what was happening was I was working in the day. I'm out entertaining clients in the evening, right? I'm in the club at night. I'm young, so I'm trying to have a social life, dating and all of that stuff.
For sure.
And then I'm running like the next day, and I'm running at top speed. So what would happen is I got tons of major injuries.
For sure.
Yeah, tons of major injuries. So that was so my story started with tons of major injuries. So when I started, like when I met Dan Paff at LSU, when I met Mark Lindsay, when I met guys that wanted me to look out for my body, understanding it's a temple and you got to take care of it.
Yeah.
When I met them, they kind of go. Dan was the first one that said, when you want to do this seriously, you're gonna crush all these guys. And I'm like, what? He said, no, you're gonna be the greatest ever.
Wow.
And so yes, so I kind of grabbed that. My story is a little convoluted, but I'm saying to you that is, as a child, I took that for granted, and so I also felt. I mean, it's a feeling I have a lot, but I also felt that I was also invincible. I mean, I can do whatever. Yeah, I can go to the club. Yeah, I can go party.
Yeah.
I can. I don't need sleep. I don't need therapy.
Yeah.
I don't need to stretch. And yes, I'm gonna crush you.
Yes. But that's just like we call it like the demon mindset.
Yeah.
You got to just be a demon. And like, and if you don't go into, especially in competitive sports, like we both played very high level soccer. Like
Nice.
if you don't have that mindset,
Right.
you're
done.
set up to lose
Yeah.
right off the bat. And whether you go in and actually lose, it's a
Right.
different story. But if you go in with that demon mindset of like,
Yeah.
I'm crushing everybody here, like you're already at an advantage mentally, which then plays into your physical,
Right.
right? And so you had that. So I'm curious, like 21, you're working, nightlife, that whole thing, and running, which is already mind blowing.
Yeah.
At what point do you say, okay, fuck this, I'm going all in? Like, all right, now I'm gonna like track and field, like this is my life.
So what happened in 1994 when you guys were probably born?
93. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm 96.
There-
So
you weren't even born yet.
Yeah,
You were
exactly.
hanging out with your dad.
yeah.
Let's just say that. Yes. Dude, I'll tell you what happened. In 1994, we had the Commonwealth Games in Victoria.
Yep.
And I was the number 1 ranked Canadian by far. What had happened was I'd got to our Canadian trials, and I ended up getting a fever because I'd flew in from Switzerland. I had a track meet, flew in from Switzerland, got very little sleep, and so what ended up happening was they selected the team and didn't pick me as the 100-meter guy. Now, I mean, I was. Again, I wasn't in full-time training, and I wasn't very serious about it. Like I said earlier about my lifestyle, and I'm like, I'm the greatest. I'm the number one. First of all, I'm the number 1 guy in the Commonwealth. Canada's hosting a party, and I just felt disrespected. And so Dan Paff, who I ended up leaving to go to LSU, to go in Louisiana State University, I went there to go and start training with him. He said, anytime you're serious, I'd met him a couple of years before, and he said, anytime you're serious, you need to come here, and you need to come with me.
Yeah, give me a call. Yeah.
Right. And so that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm like, I'm the greatest in the Commonwealth. We as a country are hosting the games. I am not one of the 3 guys you selected to run in this. So, okay, I'm done now. Not only am I done with all of this political stuff, I'm actually that's the sports, the politics of sports, but I'm now gonna focus on being the greatest ever. So I left. I left and I went to LSU. And Dan's like, oh my God. Because I've been talking to Dan for like 3 years and he had said to me, anytime you're ready. So I got to the point that I called him, he goes, when are you coming down? Nice. And so I became the annoying guy. I'm like, Dan, I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure things out, whatever. So finally when I got there, he said, so are you ready now? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. And yes, and so it wrote. So I mean, 94, I was, top 3 in the world, 95 world champion, 96 world champion, world record holder. Yeah. And just started just crushing it.
So not getting picked was the blessing there. You didn't get picked.
I'm still.
Imagine you got picked.
I'm still pissed off to this
still
day.
mad about it.
Imagine you got picked though, because then you might have just said, "Well, I'm doing everything right." Then still.
No.
Not.
That's not the fire that I have.
Okay.
Though.
Okay.
That's not the fire that I have. I mean, I felt slighted.
Okay.
Right, and it wasn't necessarily It wasn't necessarily that I was pissed off against my teammates, the people that were selected before me. I'm like, I cannot believe the system. I'm like, you're hosting the party. We are all representing the country. I am by far the greatest, not only in Canada, but in the entire Commonwealth. Why is it that you didn't pick me? And so for that, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to show you who you are. Now I'm going to show you who you're messing with. And so, so to your point, possibly, I think it definitely fueled me to get serious.
Yes.
And it fueled me also to understand that in sport, there's a window of opportunity, and that was my window.
Yeah, you saw it. It was like, okay.
100%.
And so, so let's talk about the lead up to the 96 Olympics.
Right.
Say I know nothing about track and field, the art of sprinting. What does that look like leading up to it? Because you said now 94, that whole fiasco happens. I'm getting serious.
Right.
What is the training regimen? What is the lifestyle like for you leading from 94, that situation, to eventually becoming the world record holder?
I am always a student, even to this day. I mean, I've got a lot of business mentors, or I just like to be around people who are doing great.
Cool.
You have a great podcast, I'll be here. You know what I mean? If someone's a great winemaker, I want to learn from them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I said that I went with Dan and I went down, I started with Dan, everything stopped. Okay. Partying, done.
Yeah.
This kind of food, done. Like, alcohol, done. I mean, I'm just saying to you that it was just I'm someone who could be, I can learn, understand from a guru in anything that you do, and I'm all in if I'm all in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
If I'm not in, then whatever. So when I went down, so in 94 when I spoke to Dan, all of that was done. My first race at Louisiana State University in 1995 was the Canadian record.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Wow.
Just like
Crazy.
that. I mean, I was a terrible starter. I went indoors and I'm like, I'm gonna murder you guys. All of you indoor guys who think you're tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying to you that. So it all started. So you're asking me about what happened in 1996.
Yeah.
Systematically, everything that I started in 1994 was just a build up for 1996.
Yes.
So every hour of every day I lived it.
Yeah.
Right? I knew what I put in my body. I knew what drinks I had. I knew what food I had. I knew how many hours. This is long before apps.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
I knew.
You write it down. You write it all down.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, for
No
sure.
pressure.
I knew how many hours I slept every night. I knew what lotion. I knew the ingredients of the lotion that my massage therapist used on my body, bro. Because you have to. Coming off you guys don't know probably the 80s and Ben Johnson, but coming off all of that, where the top sprinter in the world gets tested positive for drugs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sitting here getting tested 50 times a year. So I had to know every single thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? So so systematically, what your question is, 1996 leading into it.
Yeah.
This started in 1994.
It's 2 years of just like.
Yeah. But it's 2 years of focus, and it's 2 years of looking at every single thing that I did. So my competition was about breaking records or winning. I mean, I'm talking about major championships.
Yeah.
And again, physio, nutrition, like everything really mattered. So going into Atlanta, for instance, I mean, I knew it was for me to lose. I mean, and I was also coming in. I'd gotten injured in France 3 weeks before the Olympics, the Olympic finals.
Okay.
But I think that they talk about the power of the mind. And at no point when I got hurt, I'm like, there's no way I'm not competing in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And there's no way I'm not going in there to crush it. Like you said about mindset earlier, like when you, like obviously you guys both played, we say football. We both played soccer, right? But I'm saying if you're walking with the mindset that, you know what, I don't feel so well. But then, you got the lasers on because, your opponent or another team. I'm like, no, we ain't losing this.
You don't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So the mindset was, I felt it. But the mindset was that I was so hell-bent and focused on what it is I needed to do. And also I had an incredible, Dr. Mark Lindsay's the best soft tissue specialist in the world. And back then it was just Mark. And Dan Paff, my coach, is the best biomechanics man on the planet to me still. Obviously, I'm very biased, and I've got 3 world records to prove it.
True. Yes.
I'm the most successful Canadian sprinter ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
To prove that, right? So, so for me, leading into Atlanta, we had prepared for everything, and no matter what happened, I knew that the 100 meters. I mean, I didn't know how fast I was going to run. Dan thought I was going to run way faster if we didn't have all the false starts. For those of you who are Googling. But yeah, I mean, so I knew what was going to happen in Atlanta, and I prepared for everything.
Did you go in, obviously you mentioned you knew it was yours to lose,
Right.
but did you go in thinking, like, I'm breaking a world record here? Like, was that a thought for you?
No, because I think that fundamentally you have to think about what the goals are.
Yeah.
I was Commonwealth champion in '94 with the relay. I should have been Commonwealth champion individually, right? So I'm just talking about the cycle.
Yeah.
1995, I go to Sweden, and I am the individual world champion, and we're also the relay world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 1996, I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm coming to win,
Yes.
and I don't care what it takes. So for me, there was never a time, right? So and so after I won and I broke the world record, and I went back in, I was having the motivational talk with Bruni, Robert, Glenroy, and Carlton. I'm like, I'm not here to effing hang out with these guys. We're gonna crush them.
Yeah.
And then and that's it. I mean, I don't need to cuddle you. This is now business.
Yeah.
And so for me, with all of those guys, I asked them all the very same question. I said, "Are you ready? Are you effing ready?
Yeah.
You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready?"
Wow.
And everyone's like, "Yeah." They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let's go."
Wow.
That's it. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, and funny enough, having sitting in a room right now speaking to CEOs, I like to be in a room speaking to successful people. Like I said, I like to be a student. I like to understand what people are doing. When I think of motivational people, I think of like Tony Robbins, where you're in the doldrums and you're like, "Oh, I need someone to pick you up." I'm not that guy.
Okay.
I want to be the guy that's saying, "I'm ready to go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Are you ready to go?"
Like with a calmness almost.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So it's a different kind of thing.
Yes.
I think that for me, the greatest audience that I have is people who already are motivated, or you find something within you that you know that you're going to get to the goals, whatever you're trying to get to, and you just need me to just
Give you
anchor
that nudge.
Anchor,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'll take that baby home for
Yeah.
you.
I want to talk about the race specifically. Obviously, incredible race. I want to understand the mindset, literally walking onto the track. Like, where does your mind go, right? Because I think that is a feeling that, how many guys is it? 8, 10 guys that line up? 8 guys? Like, only those 8 guys are going to understand what that feeling's like, So if you can, in the best way possible, break down what goes through your mind as you're walking onto that track to race for the gold medal, and then in your situation specifically, become the fastest man in the world.
Okay, so, and again, only the people that's been there is going to understand this.
Of course.
For me, there's an incredible, immense calmness. I feel like, when you're in your house and you're either naked or you're in your underwear and you're watching TV.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Your level of calmness, and also everything slows down, right? So for me, standing at like even coming and doing 30-meter runs, getting my body ready for the 100-meter final, everything to me is just an abstract painting. I cannot recognize a face.
Wow.
So everything is just like I just see one big abstract painting. My lane is kind of what I see. Even those guys are just to me like when you're in the zone, it just doesn't even matter.
It's everything is
Like everything, like you're a robot,
yeah.
right? But I mean, you have and it's you that have to get your body there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know. Also, it's you. I had done everything with my coach and my team to prepare myself for that. I knew there might have been false starts. There might be rain. You know, there might be windy. It might be a cold day. I mean, we prepared for every single thing. So for me, getting there and understanding, you know, it's me. It's me against the world, and I have a single shot.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna deny me that. So yeah, so I think there's an immense level of calmness. There are and so you will watch a competition and you'll see 9 seconds, right? And it's like this, right?
Yeah.
It's done.
It's 2 seconds. Yeah. It feels like 1 second.
Yeah, but here's the thing. During the race, it's like a week,
Wow.
That's crazy.
right? Because
Crazy.
it is your ability to be at your most powerful ever, like physically,
Yeah.
and breathe like you're at your calmest.
That's it. That is insane.
You understand?
It's insane.
Right. So I'm going to tell you. So if you're watching, so the first 30 meters of 100 meters is basically trying to gather, like it's kind of like a big ass engine,
Yeah.
and you're trying to gather as much torque as possible. Right. So I didn't do that very well at the Olympics, but I don't care. I don't care. It's okay. I mean, we practice that. But also my top speed, which was the fastest speed recorded by a human, and it's just Bolt is the only person that's surpassed it.
Yeah.
Since then, when you're in flight, when I'm in flight, I'm essentially flying off the ground.
Looks like it.
Yeah. So your body, like I'm 6'2", but my body's probably 6'6", 6'7", and I'm flying using my shoulder to cycle. My shoulder, when it's up, my diaphragm raises. That allows my foot to cycle through, and of course my gait lands on the ground,
Yes.
and that allows you to, that allows you to get to the track. Might be too technical for a lot of people.
No,
There's
but
a science to it, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's an absolute science because in fact, again, you guys played soccer, so people are gonna go, oh, you just kicked the ball in the net. Really?
Yeah.
That's what we
Really?
always
Do
hear.
you think that's what Messi says?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I know.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean that when you in track, it's the same thing. Until you understand like all the technical aspects of what it is that you need to do, and then spend your time off the track working on strengthening all of those muscles and tiny little tendons that you
Yes.
can't reach by weights or therapy.
Yeah.
To allow you to kind of get down the track until they actually have it explained to you like this, you'll never understand.
No, and it makes sense. And you mentioned, like, when I asked you, you said the 9 seconds felt like a week.
Yeah.
It's because within those there's seasons within those 9 seconds where
Right.
as you're running it, you're going, this needs to happen. I got to breathe a certain way. I got to do this, the building the torque. So it's like you had probably 100 moments within those 9 seconds that you trained for. You knew they were coming, but that's why that 9 felt like 300 hours.
Let me tell you something though. You're 100% correct, but guess what? You can't think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'll
too
never
fast. Yeah,
fully, yes.
Yeah.
you
I'll
understand
never
what I'm saying,
fully-
right?
yes,
Yes. I mean, like I'm saying to you, like you're not go, oh, I'm gonna kick the ball now.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You know what I mean? No.
It comes natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what monotonous training is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the ability to react to the gun
Yeah.
and then react to every single thing that's coming. React to it. You cannot go, oh, you know, I mean, I think the only time that sometimes you people will think about something is that the line automatic, like it's lean, if it's a
Yeah.
close race or something.
Yes. yes.
Unfortunately, I never had to lean.
So what do you attest the calmness to? Is it just preparation, being that calm? Was
I
it-
think, yeah, I believe that the preparation and like the monotonous training and the preparation and probably chronologically going through everything on the list allows you to kind of feel, you know what, I've been here before. And also that's what the Diamond League's all about.
Yeah.
That's what indoor championships, those were some of the small competitions. Because for me, all of my competitions to me was always just practice leading me to the World Championships or to the Olympic Games. That to me, that's what it was. And that's why I tell people all the time. I mean, some of the track athletes that are competing now, I'm like, why are you guys trying to break world records every day and you never, ever will get there? I said, maybe you should do this. Work on segments of your race, and then when you get to the major championships, you then can react. You know what I mean?
True.
Because you'd have understood. Maybe, I'm in a race and I'm behind. If you panic, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you overstride, you're done.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is that you do, if you breathe wrong, you're done.
Yeah.
So you just have to you have to go in and understand exactly how you're going to execute to get the very best out of your own body. You can't, if you look at your opponent, you're done. Like any mistakes you make.
True.
I mean,
And sorry, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was going to say, did you notice any differences in 96, for example, between you and the other runners? Did you know that you were different?
Well, I know it was different in 94.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was different in 94 because, there's just glimpses, there's signs. I kind of go, yeah, how am I here and I can snatch this guy quickly,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so I'm running guys down, I'm slowing up. I mean, I'm tinkering with stuff. So I knew then. So that's why it is that from 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, I dominated the world.
And you obviously mentioned that preparation was a big key to the calmness, but it's also got to be a little bit of that, like you just knew, like you just had this belief in yourself, right? Because there's preparing for something, I think, meticulously down to the T, but then you gotta just believe in yourself as a competitor, as a human, and whatever it is that you're doing. If you're doing a speech, you could practice that speech 1 trillion times in the mirror.
Right.
But then and this is my belief, and I'm curious if you agree, that there's just this belief in yourself. Maybe it's a little bit of ego. I don't know. That just kind of is that cherry on top of all the preparation you've done. Would you agree?
I'm a killer, bro.
There you go.
No, straight up.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a killer.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a 5'8" power forward in high school, and I'm gonna dunk on your face if you're 6'8", if you're 6'10".
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm a killer. I mean, and I've always been a killer. So track, I'm like, what? Really? I mean, listen. I mean, I think that some of my competitors probably got annoyed with me back in the day. Some of those guys still like have emotional negative feelings towards me because I'll roll up to a guy. I'm like, why are you here, dude?
Yeah.
It ain't your day.
But you've
you need
seen
to
like
go home, man. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, so absolute killer. To your point, no,
Yeah.
It is ego. It is all of those things.
Yeah.
But I think that I don't know why it is that sometimes think ego is such a negative word. I mean, I don't know why it is that.
Preach
Tell
this.
us,
But I
please.
don't know why it is that
Yeah.
people think that way. I mean, because for me, ego means that I'm so good that I don't have to explain myself.
Damn.
I like that.
I don't. Here's my resume. Who's better?
Yeah.
Like ever.
Yeah, show me.
You know, yeah. I mean, and so like when I see even some of the kids now, when I see some of the kids competing in any sport, I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, how do you motivate yourself by not saying to yourself that you're the best?
For sure.
Yeah.
And then you go to and compete. Mind you, if someone beats you, give them their flowers,
Sure.
but be like, all right, good one. You got me today. Okay, next week, I'm gonna come get you, bro. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that dude, that's me. I mean, I still, obviously I'm an old man now, and I gotta lay off the competitive nature. I mean, to me, that's more business now, where I'm like, okay,
I don't think you'll ever lose that though.
never.
No, bro.
Yeah,
Never.
It's just
Because
who
like
you
I
are.
was even watching, they talk about all the time, Michael Jordan with Scottie Pippen. They still don't talk. They still don't like each other.
Today,
He's
Michael,
like, yo, you ever went to dinner with Michael Jordan? He's like, no, never. In my whole life, no.
right?
And people would think, oh, well, they were teammates and stuff like that. Still that competitive nature
Why not?
to that level.
Listen, why not? And also, I think they're again,
Of course.
hey, listen, Scotty's a great player, but he ain't Michael Jordan.
For sure.
That's the fact.
I feel
know
like
what I mean?
that's the facts. You got to be real once in a while, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's transition a little bit. What did it feel like to become the fastest man in the world?
Funny. So I'll tell you what Dan and I had talked about when we're going through after the world record is done and all of this stuff. Well, so there's a couple of things. I'll tell you, the relationship with my dad was that, if I got like 95% in chemistry, he wouldn't be like, congratulations, son, yay. He'd be like, so what happened to the 5%? I'm just saying to you that's the dynamic of my dad and I. Sure. And I loved it because sometimes I say this and parents are like, oh my God, that's a lot of pressure. I'm like, no, that's who I got to know. So it's the same reason why he went to Atlanta and he's like, I ain't gonna watch those races. That don't matter to me. That big one, that's the one I'm gonna be there for.
Yeah.
That's my first one, right? Dan and I have the same relationship.
Okay.
So I broke the world record. I'm done, and we're having a conversation after. And he goes, man, that first 30 was shit.
No way.
No, of course.
No way.
I'm serious.
Yeah, wow,
No.
wow.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking verbatim. That's what he goes, what happened? He goes, your middle 40 was okay. I mean, mind you, no one had ever ran 40 meters that fast before.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Right? And then
It's all right.
he said, your last 30 was also horrible.
Wow.
So, to your point, I broke the world record. I came off, and Dan and I were strategically talking about all the mistakes I made.
And what you
So
could've
for
done
me, I was just
better.
like, so for me, my mindset at that time was, oh yeah, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I ran really fast. Who cares? World record, all of that stuff. Again, talking about taking things for granted. But we're just talking about all the mistakes I made, and then what we're gonna do the next year. This is like half hour, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, like walking out, like the stadium, walking to the media room, right,
Wow.
to go talk to a couple of thousand reporters. Goes, so I went, so we went, sat at the press conference, and I'm like, yeah, I talked to Dan. I'm like, I broke the world record, right, right. But I'm saying we can joke about that.
Yeah.
But what it feels to be the fast, I wasn't. I knew that I didn't get all what was within me.
Okay.
So to this day, I'm like, man, what would have happened?
Yeah.
Also, as a sprinter, your entire career is working every single day to run the perfect race,
One
play the
chance.
perfect game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're golfing, you know what I mean? Like
I would say in track,
course
even,
record.
in track even more because I feel like the times, the Olympics, like those things come every 3-4 years.
Every
5
4
years.
years.
Yeah.
Every 4 years you maybe, here's what happens also in the 100 meters. You maybe have 1/1000th of 1 second to make a mistake, correct it, and continue. You know what I mean?
It is
Yeah.
crazy. It is crazy. Okay.
So you didn't feel like you put a whole country on your back.
Oh no, I mean, I'm just saying to you that it was just a race to me. I understood the weight
impact.
of but I understood the weight of that.
Okay.
From 1994 when I went to go and see Dan.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying about focus.
Yeah.
So my focus was okay.
Yeah.
Now the country's depending on me, and now the entire sport. So every single country I went to in the world, there's packed stadiums cheering me on, right?
Wow.
So because now I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm now the guy, So again, any negative news from track and field, any positive news from track and field, like anything was, I was the ambassador. I still am,
Yes.
and so it was very important for me to take that seriously. So it wasn't about, oh my God, I'm taking the country on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, I know,
Yeah.
like I know it was there. I know the sport was there.
Yeah.
I know culturally, I know it was there, and probably more importantly, I know that my mom and dad were in my corner, who has always been there supporting me, man.
Yeah.
So no distractions, good or bad. You were
Well,
just-
listen,
you were just-
there's always people. I mean, here's the thing. I think that when you're number one, there's always going to be people coming in and coming for you.
Yeah.
Especially today, when I talk to the kids today,
Yeah.
with social media and everybody wants to come and coach you. All of a sudden, when you get good, you have coaches and cousins from everywhere.
Yeah.
And bankers from all over the place.
Of course.
I've always been someone that, like uber focus. And so usually when someone comes to me, I'll be like, yeah, man, good. Thank you for your coaching advice. But my coach right there.
Yeah.
And just shut it down right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and so that's always been me. And I tell people to do that now. Keep your circle small, stay focused, and get your goals and go after it.
Yeah.
I want to ask you quickly, because everybody that we told, you were coming on,
Right.
was like, we want to know Michael
what's going
Johnson. What the hell happened there? How did that feud begin? Because that went worldwide all the way down to like you guys doing the famous race here, the $1 million race,
Right.
you know, which we can talk about. But like, and why I'm also so intrigued by it is because something like that $1 million race happened, like you know, that was put together, and you've never really seen anything like it since.
Right.
You know, so I want to start with like, how did this feud begin? Like where did it begin for you at least?
Listen, dude, there's no feud.
Okay.
There was never a feud. There was,
Okay.
okay, like understand this, and I'll always give Michael his flowers. There's speed, there's power speed, right? And then there's speed endurance. Michael, like I'm like a turbo car in a straight line,
Okay.
right? My engine's bigger than yours, my tires are bigger than yours, I am bigger than you. So I'm gonna murder you every time.
Yes.
Right? Michael is like Indianapolis 500.
Okay.
Fuel efficiency, he's going to get you around, he's going to come get you. And that's in either in the 200 meters or in the 400 meters.
400.
And he's great at it. And obviously, world record holder and also one of the best. You guys got to understand, and this is a Canadian podcast, so you got to understand this. America was hosting the Olympic Games,
Yeah.
right? So you're hosting the party. And some guy from Canada is like just running this place red.
Yeah.
Right? Then I come back in the relay, and I mean, I'm just crushing it.
Yes.
So somehow Michael ran 1932 in the 200 meters, which is fast at the time,
Yeah.
and the world record at the time.
Yep.
And the great Bob Costas, Bob Costas is amazing, by the way. The great Bob Costas said, well, you know, if you divided that in two, which you can't,
Yeah.
right? If you divide that, because I mean, it's funny that Bob had said if you did divide 1932 in two, then he'd run 966.
Yes.
But he never ever said if you multiplied 984.
True.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
True. We
Yes.
didn't do the other
Like,
math. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you did that, then you'd be like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
really doesn't work. But either way, it started then. Bob Costas said, you know, Michael Johnson's the fastest man in the world. And Michael kind of went with it. And to this day, kind of still goes with it, which is kind of dumb, but it is what it is, right? But it started there. And then, you know, there was all of this momentum and media at the time. And so we said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's dance.
Let's dance. I
Yeah.
mean, how much money do you want? I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I'm not getting out of bed for less than $500,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna get out of bed for $500,000. Okay, who the winner takes what? $1 million. All right, let's dance.
Was there a car involved too?
Yeah. Well, car. What do you mean? Winning a car?
Yeah, like
There's Mercedes was a sponsor and Harley Davidson was a sponsor.
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's $1 million. You both put up 500,000.
No, we didn't put up.
Oh, it was just like to do.
It was an event put on. Yeah.
No.
Do it.
I got 500,000 to
Yeah.
show up.
To
Yeah,
show up.
yeah.
Yes.
He
yes,
got
yes.
500 to show up, and then the winner gets $1 million plus all
Yes.
the other stuff that came.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's just crazy. I'm more curious about that event in specific, just because, like I said, even to this day, you've never really seen anything like it.
You'll never see anything like it.
In any sport. So why do you think that though? Why, like, how did it actually come to fruition? How'd you guys make that happen? And then why do you think that it'll never happen again? Like this is in any sport. We've never seen anything similar where it's like the top two guys are going to go head to head on something that is outside of the Olympics or outside of their league or whatever.
Listen, the idea of having the best of the best is great. The best versus the best is awesome. In fact, when Michael and I had gone head to head, there was actually supposed to be a 4-race series.
Okay.
It was supposed to be a 4-race series. We're going to run Toronto first, Vegas second, London third, and then Tokyo fourth,
Wow.
Sick.
Okay.
right? Anyways, I ended up winning all of them. Let's just say that. Michael competed in one. Michael decided that he wasn't going to do the others. But funny enough that you talk about this. Michael's starting something right now called the Grand Slam.
Okay.
So it's something similar. I mean, the kids now are getting $100,000. I'm like, wow, that's all you're getting? I mean, I'm just saying to you that,
Yeah.
1997, I got, for a race, I got, $1.5 million cash plus.
Yeah.
Right? And now you race for $100,000. Needless to say, Michael has started something called the Grand Slam. It's a 3-day. But it's athletes that have to go 2 events over 3 days, I believe.
Okay.
It's not the one-off.
Sure.
It's not the hour and a half of just fun and the Blues Brothers playing or whomever the dude. I mean, imagine if you kind of did that and Drake's playing at halftime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Incredible. Yeah.
That's what for me personally. That's what I would cater to.
Yes.
I think that Serena's husband has a competition called Althos in New York, but it's all women. I would definitely like to be part of that because it's kind of like one event, couple of hours. But Michael, I think, is onto something. He is, 3 days, 2 competitions. You get to win some real money, more money than any of these kids are making in their parents' fees. So again, I mean, I'll give Michael his flowers for being an athlete, and right now he's doing quite well with his Grand Slam.
But he'll never be you, eh?
Oh, then listen. I mean, it's I am me. I'm me. I am an anomaly. Man.
We should set up another race, no?
At my age, dude?
Yeah.
Nah.
Come on.
No chance.
He's the same age, right?
I'm gonna tell you.
How old
this.
is he?
I'm gonna tell you this. The
Yeah.
same age.
Okay.
I think Michael's the same age. I'm a few months younger than him. But first of all, I don't need to do it. That's number
course.
one. Number 2, I mean, mind you, I shouldn't say that because Mike Tyson just got
Yeah.
20 million, 40 million.
Lots.
Yeah, lots
Oh
of
yeah,
money.
cool. Listen, so Michael, listen. Here's the deal: for $40 million, let's do it,
Yeah, let's dance.
dude. Absolutely. I mean, I would do. I mean, I have 2 blown Achilles, but I still got this.
There you go.
Well,
Right? So it's
like,
all right.
It's like soccer. They have those games where they bring back Zidane and Thierry Henry, and they have those games. It's cool.
The celebrity games.
Exactly.
But I'm saying to you, here's the thing, though.
You're too competitive for a celebrity game.
No. I will play, but I'll play a celebrity soccer or basketball game.
Okay,
dude.
okay.
But here's what happens: the difference between team sport
Okay.
and individual sport. I can't you get because you see some of the guys that come out to play celebrity games, and they're way out of shape. They've had
sure. Oh,
way
some of
too
them are
much
bad.
good food
Yeah.
and way too much good wine.
Yeah.
The life has been awesome.
Yep.
In track and field, you can't hide, bro.
That's true.
Can't
Right?
fake it. Can't fake
If you
it.
pull a
Running,
hamstring,
yeah,
you
yeah.
pull a hamstring.
Yeah, yeah.
If you fall on your face, you fall on your face. You can't hide.
Okay.
Right? So that's the difference. So if this was gonna happen, like imagine again, you watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight. You can't hide. Unless of course it's
Fake.
Yeah.
Which it looked like it,
it's
to be
fixed.
honest, right?
It's well, I think it was. You know, hey,
Wait, listen, but I don't think you would sell out to do that.
I can't.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
That's not in
I can't.
Although-
Mind you, for 40
I
million,
was about to say.
why not?
For a grand total of 40 million. I
Yeah,
would.
that's okay.
Hey, listen, we hold on. We don't have 40 million. We'll put that out there. However,
If there's
if
someone that
someone wants to
host
put that money up, and there might be somebody watching this, Michael, whichever camera you're watching from, Michael,
Let's do it.
let's
set it
dance.
up.
Okay.
Let's dance, baby.
So let's talk about life after the sport.
Yeah.
Let's talk first about when you stop and why you stop.
Right.
What happened? Like, why did you decide to stop?
Well, I blew my left Achilles in 1998.
Okay.
So basically, that was the end of my career.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't the end of my career, but it was the end of my career because ultimately, what you're doing is you're so focused on your body being in such amazing symmetry that you can be the fastest human being on the planet.
Yeah.
And then I blow my Achilles, which is basically the fan belt of your engine. And so one side of my body cycling at the speed that it was going before, and the other side kind of cycles and stops.
Trying to keep up,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it's
Lagging.
Yeah, there's the word. There's the word. I'm going to use that. Yes, one side was lagging.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I had some contractual obligations. So so what I wanted to do was to rehab in 1998, 1999, and then see if I could come back for the 2000 Olympics.
Okay.
Right. So I did that. The 2000 Olympics, I got there. Was I going to win? Don't know. Was I prepared to? Mentally, I was. Physically, again, not sure because you have one side of your body functioning and the other side lagging. Yeah. I was very blessed that the World Championships was in Edmonton in 2001. And so I thought, that's the place I'm going to retire. What better place for me to retire than being at home soil, in front of my fans, in front of the world, but also in front of my fans. So I retired in 2001, August 2001 in Edmonton.
How did it feel? Because we hear all about sports and athletes finishing a sport. They take it like one or two ways. They either like completely collapse as a human,
Right.
or they take what they learned, take the mindset, and usually either go into business or charity, stuff like that, commentating, stuff like that, right? So what did it feel like for you? Because I feel like that was your life, right?
Yeah.
And now you're walking away from it.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Father time always wins, right? And so I knew that my body was, like, if your body is really now, attacking you, right? It's your body is disappointing you, right? So you can't be bitter at something.
Yeah.
Also, I was the greatest sprinter on earth. So I'd gotten every single thing that I possibly could out of my body. No one has ever done it in Canadian history, and I don't think anyone will. I don't know anyone that, I mean, I cheer on the young cats that are doing this right now, but I don't know which one of them are gonna run 9.57. I don't know which one of them are gonna be the top sprinter in the world, right? So when I retired, it was very easy for me to get back to business.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
You're also doing it before, anyways.
I was doing.
True,
I
true.
never stopped doing it.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Right. So so it was so good for me to kind of get back. Mind you, I'm still a competitive person, and I know that the greatest drug on earth is adrenaline. So I'm like, how are you gonna get that? And so, like you talk about philanthropy, right? That's number one. I was always taught from my parents that, for those who are blessed, you also got to bless people. So I got to give my time to kids, to sports, mental health, leadership. Later on, when both my parents passed, one was from cancer, the other was from Alzheimer's. So again, I give back, helping them raise money and making that awareness be known, like freely, using my brand and using my platform. Business has always been awesome because I love startups. Not only do I love startups because it allows me to kind of learn about a product and also see the killer within the CEO or the COO or the CFO of that company, and we can go on a journey and kind of get to a place where everyone is happy.
Of course.
And happy meaning that they're successful, which usually comes in dollars and cents. And also still being a brand ambassador, still having the ability to use my platform for a global brand or a national brand to help them bring their product to all of my great fans and network out there.
Yeah.
So for me, track was very focused and disciplined, but I think retiring allowed me to understand that I need to have small wins in all of these categories for me to be a balanced person. And I'm a dad. There's all of those things, man.
Yeah. How's it being a dad?
Not like my dad was to me. You know what I mean? Like I do have. Listen. I have love and unconditional love for my kids because I think that we're in a place where you have to communicate. You have to communicate that. You have to. So I think being a dad is probably my greatest accomplishments. And so for me, my job is to kind of mold the mind of these kids that I have, and hopefully teach them what my parents did, which is no matter what you do, my expectations is that you're going to be successful and you're going to be happy in what you do.
True.
Yes.
Are they in sport?
No, well, my son, my son Mateus is playing basketball.
Nice.
And the others, no, not yet.
Okay, not yet though.
Yeah.
Not yet. So what businesses are you before we had this podcast? You're like, yo, got one of my businesses calling me soon.
Right.
What are you currently working on?
I'm working on several things. Some of them I have signed NDA, so I can't talk about
No
it
problem.
now. Yeah, but now I have a company called Biopods, which is kind of like a Dr. Schultz running shoes.
Nice.
You can adjust your arch.
Cool.
So biopods.com, you need to check that out. I'm an owner there. The Great Canadian Sauce Company, which is, again, this has nothing to do with sports. So it's hot sauce.
Nice.
Hot sauce made in Canada for Canadians.
I gotta try some.
Yes, you got to try it. Absolutely amazing. Javelin Sports is a tech app company right now in the city, in Canada, and it's Canada and the U.S., Eastern U.S.
Okay.
But there's several others that we're working on. I have a vitamin line coming up, and we're working on several things.
Okay.
Right, Patrick? Right.
Did you take that discipline from sport into business right now? The same kind of discipline that you had?
Yeah, you know what? So the answer for me personally is yes.
Yeah.
However, I think people management is really tough because I think the mindset that I have, not everyone has, right? Because if I wake up in the morning and I expect, like I roll out of bed, I go shower, I brush my teeth, and it's guns blazing.
Let's go. Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah.
And it's let's go until I fall asleep again.
Yes.
Right? And even if I fall asleep in the middle of the day and I nap, I wake up from that nap and it's guns blazing again. I don't really understand any other speed, right? And so in business, like in sport, as I said before about about knowing your role, it is my responsibility to live a certain way and to motivate a certain way. But also I have to understand how it is sometimes that things work. I didn't run the Olympic 100-meter finals every day. And part of the problem is that an audience always sees the shiny object. They always see the gold medals, or, you're flying on a private jet, or you've got this kind of car, or living in a big house.
Yeah.
And what you don't see is the small things that you have to do in the trenches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And those days that you're like, man, I don't want to practice, or man, I don't want to do this. So in business, there are those meetings. There are those meetings in the back room. There are all those things grinding out numbers. And there's also those slow days that we have to understand how it is that things are going to systematically work or chronologically work, when we're going to launch a product, when it goes to market, how this whole thing works, like media, so you have to understand all those things.
sure.
So for me, I guess the short answer to your question is yes. It's the same mindset that I have going into business. However, it's not just me.
Yeah.
It was just me in the 100 meters. And then it was just me even the relay. Because, I understood, the relay team, just like the relay team now, they have gotten to the greatest level of accomplishments as a group. My team got to their greatest accomplishment as a group, except for me. It was, the relay was, my consolation prize after being the greatest on earth. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to understand that. So the combination of that, you have to understand what team building, success, and leadership is all about, and where all of those things fit in now in business. When I'm sitting in the boardroom and I'm presenting with a deck, and we're gonna go raise some money to get this product to market, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
See,
Well,
that's
it's a game. Business is a game.
It's sport, bro.
It is
it's a
sport.
game, but you made a good point, and we learned this a lot. We've been doing business together for 8 years.
Nice.
Built 2 multi-million-dollar businesses.
Nice.
And-
Get me in on one of them.
Okay,
Or
let
two.
me know.
We got you,
We'll
bro.
chat. But at the beginning, we call ourselves like the bootstrap kings,
Right.
because we've never raised a dollar. We've
Nice.
no debt, the whole thing, right?
We like to be stressed out instead.
essentially yes. And
Yo,
so
that's the best. Come on,
I know.
you know that.
I
It's the
know,
best
I
chance.
know.
You know
I
that.
know.
But
That's
the
the
key-
best win ever.
The
Yes.
key point you made, though, is between both companies, we tend to hover between like 25 and 30 employees.
Right.
And when you start hiring and growing that team, which essentially you have to do for growth, right? You can't be everywhere all the time doing everything. It's understanding that not everyone moves at the speed that you do, right? And so then you got to be creative in understanding how to light that fire
Right.
for certain people.
Or fire them.
There you
Correct.
go. Fast too.
That's not how it always works.
Michael Weckerly was on this podcast, and he said the best thing, and we've taken it and ran with it. Fire fast, hire slow.
Right.
Anyways,
Weck is a great friend, by the way.
He's the best.
he's a great
man.
guy. We had him on, and he was
We
awesome.
had him on 2-3 years
Yeah,
ago.
Yeah, and
Weck
he was
is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
But
Weck is
to
awesome,
that
friend.
point, it's like, and then you realize that even then, even like everyone's flip gets switched on a different way.
Absolutely.
So as a good leader, you actually have to understand person by person and what fires them up. And that becomes the whole new battle, because at the beginning, the early stages, very startup, where it's just you and the founders, and you're trying to get things going, everyone sitting next to you, majority of the time,
Right.
is go.
Right.
Is on 100 the second they wake up, and they're on
Right.
100 till they go to sleep.
Right.
But as you grow as a business, those are the things you learn. So I can only imagine being in an independent sport, because soccer, we still had that a little
Right.
bit.
Well, you have to have it in soccer.
You have to. But for you, it was just like really dependent on you. Yes, your coaches and things, but like if you were at 100, you were at 100, and that's all that mattered.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, you guys played soccer, and that's what I'm saying, the balance of me running the relay.
Yeah.
I understood what my job was
Your
in
role.
100 meters.
Yes.
Right? I understood that.
Yes.
in the relay, I'm like, oh man. And plus I'm the anchor.
Yeah.
True.
So now I'm in a team sport, but we're all individual athletes. So one of the things that you guys learn in team sport is like, okay,
Yeah.
I got to do what I got to do. I got to dribble, but I got to pass to the guy that's going to take it home for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And so in business, it's the exact same way.
Yes.
There you
So
go.
people management is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes people management is tough for someone like me.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
Makes
people,
sense.
I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that I left you here like, 5 hours ago and that's all you got done?
Yep.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, no, you should have built a house by then. You know what I mean?
We have that battle all the time, but you got to learn. You learn that again. Everyone plays a role, has their systems,
Right.
And what fires them up.
If you could mentor the next Donovan Bailey, maybe he's 18 and he's out there right now.
Right.
What are 3 things that you would really drill into him based on what you learned during your career?
Oh man. If I could, well, first I'd probably want to find out what structure they're from,
Okay.
right? So their parents, their upbringing.
Okay. Interesting.
That's the first thing I'd want to find out. I would like to find out how hungry they are. Right? I mean, because hunger to me is like the
It's the top. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then of course, so where you're from, and the hunger or craving that you have, and then how do you turn that into being a disciplined human, listening to everything I got to say to get you there? You know what I mean?
You got to be a learner too. Yeah.
Well, if you would be a horrible leader like a horrible leader is no, I think the saying is a horrible learner is a horrible leader.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that I to this day I'm still a learner. Like I'll come here and take away lessons that I learned from you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Vice versa.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how the world's supposed to function.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the question is, what's your infrastructure? Where you're from? You know, the drive that you have, the hunger. You crave something. You know, are you someone that's going to do anything to get there, or are you someone that's going to do everything to get there? Big difference. You know what I mean?
I like that one.
Well, but yeah, because there's people. This is why we have drugs in sports.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
this is what it is.
Interesting.
So you'll do anything. You'll do anything to get there. No, I don't want that. I want everything. Because now you have now made a commitment to yourself that I'm gonna be my greatest self. Yeah. Your nutritional habits were bad. Throw that out. Rip that up on day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have made a commitment to yourself. You didn't have a coach. You now have a coach. Throw that attitude out. So you're walking into a room and you're completely empty. So your job is to absorb as much information as possible from every person I'll be the one leading this, but every single person I'm bringing into your life, I'm gonna be like, yeah, man, you want to get there and you're gonna do everything? Perfect. Yeah. You can come with me if you want to do everything to get there. But if you do anything to get there,
That's genius.
It's different.
That's
It's
genius.
a different story.
What are your thoughts on Usain Bolt, the new modern day sprinters? What are your thoughts on all that? And Usain Bolt as just a runner himself.
Bolt's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Bolt's the GOAT, man. I mean, you got a 6'6" guy, 6'5", 6'6" guy moving like he's 5'6". He's rewritten the record books. He certainly has taken my records. I mean, well, he's still got the 50 to go, and he's retired. So he left that alone.
Yeah.
But no, Bolt's amazing. Probably one of our greatest ambassadors of our sport,
Yeah.
and just an all-around good dude.
Have you guys ever spoke before?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime I see him, like I have time for him anytime I see him, and he has the same.
Yeah.
So if I'm somewhere and I see him, I'll just pop over, say what's up, and he'll do the same if he sees me sitting somewhere.
That's love.
There's
man.
actually a
Absolute
kid.
love.
Yeah.
There's a kid out of Australia. I don't know if you saw him, and
Yeah.
his name. I'm blanking on his name, but he has the
Goat,
same
goat,
name.
goat,
Yes.
goat.
Yes.
That's gout.
Gout.
And
And he's
he's-
17.
and
He's
he's
racing out of Australia,
Yeah.
and he's like breaking all the records at his age right now.
Yeah.
From what I saw.
Here's the thing. I love that kid. But 17 is a lot of pressure to be compared against the greatest athlete ever.
Still some
Of
time
course,
to go to.
But
Yeah.
you've seen people making the comparisons.
I've also seen people flame out.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Fair
No,
point.
so here's the thing. I love this kid. I love what he's doing. I actually spoke to his coach a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, cool. Right on.
He's in a great structure. And what I love about him today, he's enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's unafraid of the spotlight and he's just running.
Yeah.
You know? So for that alone, I'm an incredible supporter. I just want to make sure that he doesn't I just want to make sure that he's managed properly. And he continues to break records. And dude, if he's the next person that's gonna run faster than 9.58 and 19.19, then man, I want to be there to see it.
Yeah. Me too. That'd be incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
But he's amazing.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of spotlight.
So you're a Canadian legend. That's a fact.
I'm a legend, dude.
I'm
happen to be Canadian.
the reason you'll see why I'm saying Canadian very
that's all,
shortly.
it's all good. I'm messing with
A
you.
lot of impact in our country. You know, maybe it was at a different time, but you still have that impact till today.
Right.
Another person, Drake Drizzy, lot of impact for the
Yep.
country in a different sphere. In
Music, of
in
course.
industry.
Music,
Yeah,
culture,
of
hip
course.
hop.
What do you think about the kind of impact he's had on our country?
Oh man, I mean, it's just well. First of all, he's a Canadian who's a proud Canadian.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In 1994, 1995, I had the ability to fly the Maple Leaf around on my shoulders, running around the entire world, being serenaded by the national anthem. And what I love about what Aubrey has done, what I love about what Drake has done, is that. I mean, unafraid, unapologetic about being Canadian, but also being successful enough to be top of the top, to be the greatest on earth, to be the best across the universe. So yeah, man, I mean, again, another guy that I have a lot of time for, and he'll have a lot, and again, he has a lot of time for me, and I have a lot of time for him. I mean, because again, like with Maestro Fresh West, for instance, before him, Drake has taken this to another level, to out of this atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, so again, a lot of love for him. Always a lot of love for him.
When you've chatted with him and had moments with him, did you see that same killer instinct?
Dude, he's a killer today still.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
kidding
yeah,
me, man?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, here's the thing. If you're doing something and you see no rivals,
It's facts.
that makes you that just makes you a shutter, man. That makes you a killer all day, all night. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying to you that when you get to a place where you're just doing things and you're not even worried about what people are saying, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is.
100%. 'Cause you collabed with OVO. You did a collab with
I
them.
did a collab with them, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, of course. I mean, I got to do what I got. Listen,
Come on,
the
OVO
OVO
Donovan.
people, the OVO people they always got to give love to the OGs, man.
Of course.
I
And
am
they do.
definitely an OG.
And
Drake
they do.
definitely gives love to the OGs
Yeah,
of this country.
absolutely.
Yeah, he does.
Absolutely.
Before we get to the final question, I know you got to run. I know you've spent a lot of time with us. We should definitely do a part 2, by the way, because
Yeah,
I'd
sure.
love to
Hey,
keep
dude, why
talking
not?
to you.
This was fun. Bro. This was fun. Absolutely.
We're going to ask you to manifest something on the show. We want you to manifest something you think is going to come to fruition maybe the next 3 to 5 years. Something you want to come to life, because we're going to come back to this episode, clip it and say he said it.
He said it here first.
Dude, that's a hard question.
You got to be specific.
We give
too,
you a
'cause
lot of easy ones. Now it's time for some hard
No,
ones.
but I'm saying to you that's just a hard question because I'm
course.
saying to you that, I've been trained to be successful,
I know.
right? Huh.
Is there one thing? It doesn't have to be even with business. Could be family. Could be anything that you want to come to life.
I got to make it business though.
Okay.
I think that here's the thing. I'm the 100 meter champion, former 100 meter world record holder, Olympic champion. So I want to manifest that my next company that goes public, I'm going to sell it for $100 million.
Oof.
I like that.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, that's you want
said
me to
it.
say it.
You said it, yeah.
Well, I'm working towards that every day.
Of course.
Yeah.
Even before I didn't know anything about this question.
Of course.
But these are things I'm working towards, of course.
Once it happens, let me know, because we're gonna come back to this episode, clip it up.
Yeah.
We have a viral clip now.
This might
100%.
have to be that same moment at Commonwealth 94, that sparked 96.
There you go.
100%. Well, Donovan, before we let you go, obviously, we are the MBH podcast, Money Buys Happiness.
Yes.
So we want to know if Donovan Bailey believes money buys happiness.
It does not.
Okay.
but it does rent it though.
That's a
No,
good
anyway,
one.
no.
It's fair. It's fair.
At the end of the day, I think that whatever your focus is, money. I think that first of all, that's an incredible name for a podcast. That's why I'm here, right? No, it is, because there's tons of people that have differing opinions on that.
Correct.
You know, but for me, what is the definition of money? Is it dollars?
Yeah.
Is it health? Is it family?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Because I think that if you define what money is,
Yes.
sometimes money is a dollar figure.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes money, but for me, if I got my health, if I got an incredible support system, if I got people that are pushing me every day, that's worth more than any dollar figure. So that's money. So yeah, your podcast is absolutely correct. Money does buy happiness, but please define what money is.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's different for every single person. And like we say, after almost 300 episodes, we've kind of narrowed it down to this.
Right.
We've kind of narrowed it down to it's a two-pronged approach. How you make your money.
Mm-hmm.
Do you enjoy the way you make it? Because that's going to be the first step.
Right.
And then the second part, which is relevant to what you're saying, is how you spend it.
Right.
So are you spending it on your family? Are you spending it on making sure you have good health care and your body's upkept and good food and all these things? So if you can master both those things, you can make money in the way that you enjoy and spend it on meaningful things that actually elevate your life. Why can't it buy happiness?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. I hope that you understand and not offended by
No, please. We've had crazy answers.
We've got crazy
but
answers.
I'm saying how I define money.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because to me, money's over here.
Yeah.
Because what that buys me is freedom
Yeah.
to do whatever the hell I want to do.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
You understand me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that's the definition for me.
And that's a lot of people say that money.
I love cash too,
Money
so
buys
get me
freedom. well, you said you manifested 100 million. You manifested
100%.
Right?
100%. I practice what I preach, bro.
Honestly, bro, great energy, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
your
so
time
much.
for real. It was an honor, pleasure. A lot of people are gonna love this episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you're still here, comment something below. Let us know what you think of the episode.
Yep.
Make sure you give him a follow. We're gonna drop all his links below.
Yep.
Perfect.
Get the OG popping.
Yes.
Let's go. Appreciate you, man.
We're
Hey,
out.
dude, thank you, man. Thank you, guys.